I'm not the type of person who enjoys horror movies or haunted houses. But even I couldn't deny that there was something strange about my new school.
It was an old building, built in the early 1900s. The walls were dark and the halls were always cold. Even in the summer, there were rumors that the school was haunted, but I didn't believe them at first. That all changed one night. I was working late in the library, finishing a research paper. I was the only one in the building, and I was starting to get a little creeped out. I kept hearing strange noises like footsteps and whispers. I finally decided to call it a night and head home. As I was walking down the hall, I saw a figure standing in the shadows. I couldn't make out who it was, but it was definitely there. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. The figure didn't move. I didn't move. We just stood there. Stood there staring at each other for what felt like an eternity. Finally, the figure turned and walked away. I watched it go, my mind racing. What had I just seen? I didn't sleep well that night. I kept thinking about the figure in the shadows. I was starting to believe that the rumors about the school being haunted were true. The next day, I decided to do some research. I talked to some of the older students, and they all had stories about strange things happening in the school. There were reports of doors opening and closing on their own, lights flickering, and footsteps in the halls when no one was there. I even talked to the school's janitor, who told me that he had seen a ghost on several occasions. He said that it was a young girl, and she always seemed to be looking for something. I was starting to get scared. I didn't want to believe that the school was haunted, but the evidence was starting to pile up. One night, I was walking home from school when I saw the figure again. It was standing in the middle of the street, just watching me. I stopped and stared at it, my heart pounding in my chest. The figure didn't move. I didn't move. Finally, the figure turned and walked away. I watched it go, and then I ran home as fast as I could. I didn't know what to do. I was scared to go to school, but I didn't want to tell my parents about what I had seen. I didn't want them to think I was crazy. I decided to keep it to myself. I tried to ignore the strange noises and the feeling that I was being watched, but it was no use. The fear was always there, lurking in the back of my mind. One day, I was in the library, studying for a test. I was so focused on my work that I didn't notice the figure standing in the shadows until it was too late. The figure stepped out of the shadows and into the light. It was the young girl from the janitor's story. She was wearing a white dress, and her hair was long and black. Her eyes were empty and staring. I screamed and ran out of the library. I didn't stop running until I was safe at home.
I never went back to that school. I couldn't. I was too scared. I still don't know what the figure was. Was it a ghost? A hallucination? I don't know. But I know that I'll never forget it. The memory of that night still haunts me. I can still see the figure's empty eyes, and I can still hear its footsteps in the halls. I'm not sure if the school is really haunted, but I know that I'll never go back there again.